Game is do no harm. Review written by Corgi Island. Game's a blast, but super unbalanced in terms of logic to prevent losses due to bad luck, especially when you get to the part where you have to start mixing medications. I get that the idea is that you can't cure everyone, but you reach a point where you can't even cure most of your patients in a day if they need high doses, because you run out of everything and sometimes need to mix all four medications at once. I know resource management is part of the game, but I can't help but feel there should be some logic in place to prevent that, and things like getting 4-5 hallucinations in a day when you only get 3 bottles of laudanum. Part of the reason other logic deduction games in this genre, Papers, Please, Not My Neighbor, etc., work is because they don't have resource management as a part of it. Imagine if you only got so much ink for stamps in Papers, Please, or could only open the door a certain amount of times in That's Not My Neighbor. That kind of tightrope walking just doesn't work when players already have to pay attention to so much. Especially when there are no options to upgrade your equipment. It stays the same throughout a playthrough outside of adding other things to keep track of for diagnosis, which you also have to pay for. I got to a point where I had a list of people I needed to give mixed medications to, and the first patient of the day, I got used 2 syringes of high-dose medication and essentially wiped that entire bottle of medication out for the entire rest of the day, which meant I couldn't get that list done. I got frustrated enough to close out of the game, even though it was otherwise a relatively good experience. Game is overall great. The dev did a great job, but it could really use some balancing patches so it's not as random and dependent on good luck. If it were me, I'd just get rid of the limited resources entirely, or move that to a different harder game mode, IDK. I still think it was worth the money, but I'm steamed enough about one bad early morning decision of not immediately knowing a correct high dose blowing an entire run that it will probably be a few days before I go back to playing.